Hi there, in this video we'll take a quick look at table of contents and indexes, as well as a little bit of extra stuff to do with columns. So I'm going to open up the file. This file I've shared with you via Brightspace, the LMS. So I'm going to open up Word. And navigate to the usual place. And it's this demonstration table of contents index columns. Again, this is on Brightspace CLMS. So this is a file we used previously. We went through it and we added a level 1 heading for each title of each article, and then level 2 headings for subsections within that article. So when we hit the next article here, you see we have another level 2 heading. We've also modified that level 1 heading. Let me just quickly take a look here. Under line page breaks, we added a page break before. So for every title of the 3 articles, each article starts on its own page because of this. So again, subsections with level 2 headings and articles with level 1 headings. So that's important. If you're going to insert a table of contents, you do need to define those headings. Without doing that, it'll be difficult to add your table of contents. You can use other styles. So for example, if you had a table of figures, you could create a style for that purpose and then add a table of figures as well, something that's a little bit too advanced for this course. So what I'm going to do is going to give myself a brand new paragraph, so I have a spot for my table of contents to go into. So I'm going to press enter on my keyboard. Now notice, since every level 1 heading has a page break before, that pushed this one down onto the next page. So I don't want that to be a level 1 heading for that purpose, so I'm just going to go back to normal. I'm going to select that paragraph and I'll choose normal. And this is still on the next page because it's got the page break before. Now I want to insert my table of contents here. Now something that comes with the table of contents is the title table of contents, which automatically picks up the level 1 heading as well. So if I choose references and then table of contents, and I just use the very first one, but notice that we do have custom table of contents, so we do have some additional table of contents options. Generally, this one will work just fine. It tells you, basically it gives you a page number for the headings 1 to 3. So I have headings 1 and 2, so even if we had a subsection, the table of contents would display what page that subsection appeared on. That's basically what it's saying. So I'm going to choose that, and you see it put this contents in there, and you'll see that that is indeed a level 1 heading as well. Actually, no, it might be a title. Yeah, it's a table of contents heading. So it doesn't have that page break before because these are level 1 headings. So basically it gave us our table of contents here. If you look through it, you'll see that it does indeed display the correct page number for each one of these headings. And it indents the subsections. If we had a level 3 heading for a subsection, it would indent those as well. And I'm going to remove that additional paragraph mark. We don't need that. And we're probably safe to take that one away as well. Yeah. Should be okay. Oh, it doesn't let us. So this is the exception to the rule of not having extra paragraph marks. Apparently it inserts that for some purpose. I'm not sure what that is, but that's added by the system. So I see one of these on your work, I won't mark it wrong. So one thing is if we add more content after we add our table of contents, some of these page numbers will change. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to quickly make all of the content after the table of contents a 2-column layout. So basically starting here, everything will be a 2-column layout. So this will be just 1 column, this will be 2. So in order to do that, I choose Layout, Columns, and if I click on the little black triangle there, I have more columns. So I want 2 columns, just like we had before, but I want to apply to this point forward. So I had my cursor right before the 1 and 18. So everything at that point will become 2 columns. Everything after, it gives you a little preview of what it's going to look like, will just be 1 column. So the table of contents will be 1 column. You rarely see a table of contents in 2 columns. The rest of the document will be 2 columns. So I choose OK. And you see it puts in this little section break. So whenever you have a distinct layout change like this one, the system will add that section break for you. So don't remove that, otherwise everything will become 1 column, or this area will become 2 columns. So it needs that section break to define a difference. And now notice that we have a little bit of space before this. I'm just going to remove that space. I want this to be at the top of the column. So I'm going to choose Home, Paragraph, and indents and spacing. And I'm just going to say no space. And I'm going to choose OK. So that makes that flush with this next column. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply that to all of the level 1 headings, again in that fashion that I showed you previously. So if I click on the additional styles options, it gives you my little styles panel here. If I mouse over this one and click on the little arrow, and I choose update heading 1 to match selection. So that'll remove that space before all of the heading 1s in the document. Again, very useful if we have a 100-page document or something like that. We don't have to go and find the next heading 1s and remove the space manually. So now that we've made these this content into 2 columns, there's a good chance that some of our sections have moved to new pages. But just to ensure, I'm just going to zoom out so you can see almost the whole page. And I'm just going to add an image to every page. So I'm just going to click right about here. And I'm going to choose Insert and Online Pictures and Plastic Bags. And I like that one. Insert. And I'm going to change my wrapping. I'll go with tight. And I'll move it right into the middle of the page. And notice it threw a little caption in there as well. So if you want to remove the caption, you can actually just delete that. You can just select it and then backspace over it. And if you want to remove the entire, if you click right in that, notice it gets a little, basically a box around it, so it's inside of something called a text box. So if I want to delete that, I can just click right on the outline and then press delete. Notice it went solid. That indicates that that text box is selected. So then I'm going to press delete. There we go. Now we don't have that additional space between our text that we had before. And I'm going to go ahead and go down to my next article and do the same thing. So this one is germs. I like this one. Ooh, this one's better. Again, I can click right on that little box, click on the outline, press delete, and set my wrapping on that. Remember, we get this context sensitive. Once we have that image selected, we have that context sensitive ribbon that pops up again. Here, let me just widen this so you can see it a bit better. So I have picture tools, right? Format. That pops up once we have that picture selected. And I'll set the wrapping to tight. Square will also work. I like tight because if we have an image that's not square, you get the text reacts to, for example, a round image. It's very elegant. And I'll find one more image for vacation. So we'll just find vacation. Don't spend too much time looking for a picture. If you look, I always just take a glance at the very first page and grab something like this one here and just immediately make a decision. And that one didn't get any captions, so that's great. I don't have to delete it. And I'll just, again, we have to set the wrapping before we can drag this, otherwise it just acts like text. It can only move where text is, so it won't be able to move into the middle of the page. So format, wrap text, tight, and now I can move it into the middle of the page. Let's see what that looks like. Pretty good. So since I converted the layout to 2 columns and added some images, it probably pushed the content around quite a bit. So these headings, let's even check my theory here. This is page 8 that we're on, and we've got 3 condiment dispensers. So let's see if condiment dispensers is on page 6 of our table of contents, in our table of contents. So 3, see, the table of contents says it's on page 5. So the table of contents, since we changed the content, is no longer accurate. So we want to update this table of contents to reflect that content changes. So if you just click on that table of contents and choose, this little flag pops up here, this update table. We choose update table. Now, we didn't add any additional headings or any additional content. We just added some images which push the content around. So we can safely say update page numbers only. Had we added another heading 1 or a heading 2, we'd probably want to update the entire table. Either one will work in this situation. I'm just going to go with update page numbers only, and I choose OK. And now we should see condiment dispensers is now displayed on page 6, so that now the table of contents is actually accurate. So that was table of contents. We again looked at it, inserting images again, something we've seen before, and columns, something we've seen before, but we haven't seen this 1 column, basically adding 2 columns to this point forward. Thanks so much for watching.